Hello, my name is Andre Brown, and I will be talking to you today about teenage pregnancy. What is teenage pregnancy? Pregnancy by a female at age 13 to 19, which is understood to occur in a girl who hasn't completed her core education, secondary school, has few or no marketable skills, is financially dependent upon her parents and/or continues to live at home and is mentally immature. Objectives. The audience will have knowledge about teen pregnancy and will be able to tell risk factors that one could get if they become pregnant. At the end of the class, participants will be able to identify factors that cause teenage pregnancy. Upon completion of the session, participants will be able to construct a question and answer with other teens to help prevent other teenage pregnancy. The participants will be able to do activities that will put them in a scenario where they would have understanding of how important prevention is. After the discussion, to end the session, participants will be able to share and discuss their plans to follow in order to prevent teenage pregnancy. Target audience. The target audience is who the age between any teen between 13 years of age and 19 years of age. Teenage pregnancy does not only affect just females, it also affects the baby's father, his parents, and her closest relatives, and the peers of both groups. Pregnancy trends. Although Hispanics currently have the highest teen birth rate, they also have had a dramatic recent decline in rates. Since 2007, the teen birth rate has declined by 45% for Hispanics, compared with declines of 37% for blacks and 32% for whites. This figure, birth rates per 1,000 females age 15 to 19 by race ethnicity, and this chart is from 1990 to 2013. Substantial geographic variation also exists in adolescent childbearing across the United States. In 2013, the lowest teen birth rates were reported in the Northeast, while rates were highest in states across the southern part of the country. See how your state compares on birth rates, pregnancy rates, sexual activity, and contraceptive use on the map. Take a second to look at the map. There are several risk factors when it comes to teenage pregnancy. Such risk factors include the following: individual risk factors. Drug and alcohol use, lack of knowledge about sex or contraception, lack of goals for the future, low self-esteem, poor school performance, having sex at a young age, being the victim of sexual abuse, negative attitude towards using contraception, uncertainty about having a child, and there's also social risk factors, and these include the following: pressure from peers to have sex, dating at an early age, dating older guys, and friends who are sexually active. And lastly, there are family risk factors, and these include poor parental supervision, limited communication between parents and teen, negative family interactions, single-parent families, significant unresolved conflict between family members, and family history of teenage pregnancies. All this sounds bad, but there's 3 ways, and there are many more ways, but these are just 3 main ways to prevent teenage pregnancy. The first is birth control. What is birth control, you ask? Birth control is the use of any practices, methods, or devices to prevent pregnancy from occurring in a sexually active woman. It is also referred to as family planning, pregnancy prevention, fertility control, or contraception. Birth control methods are designed either to prevent fertilization of an egg or implantation of a fertilized egg in the uterus. The most common way to take birth control is the pill form. Another method to prevent teenage pregnancy is using condoms. Condoms or rubbers is a thin covering made of latex, plastic, or animal membrane that is rolled over an erect penis. The covering prevents semen, which is the fluid that contains sperm, from entering the vagina. And here you see several examples of different brands of condoms. The last example I have to prevent teenage pregnancy is abstinence. Abstinence, also known as celibacy, is simply not having sex. This is a 100% sure way to not have your partner pregnant or get pregnant yourself, because there's no way possible that you can get pregnant if you're not having sex at all. A person decides to practice abstinence has decided not to have sex simply, and if 2 people don't have sex, like I stated before, the sperm can't fertilize an egg because there's no chance of pregnancy. And here you see an example of a promise ring, which is a way to simulate with your partner that y'all wait till you guys get married to have sex. Alright, now it's time to play Jeopardy so we can have a review of what we have learned. Jeopardy is a trivia game in which we will break into 2 teams and review over what the presentation was over. The game allows people to be competitive, but at the same time, it is helping them remember and retain the material that was covered in the PowerPoint. After the game of Jeopardy and all the questions and answers that were participated in the activity, I would move on to explain the multiple intelligence. Multiple intelligence, the theory of multiple intelligence is a theory of intelligence that differentiates into specific modalities rather than seeing intelligence as dominated by a single general ability. This was proposed by Howard Gardner in his 1983 book, Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligences. And in my presentation, it would include 4 or 5 different types of multiple intelligences. Obviously, the guest speaker would be me, and it'd be making it intrapersonal. The open audience speaking in the game of Jeopardy would make it interpersonal. Me showing my PowerPoint and me giving my presentation would be example of 2 different types of multiple intelligences, which would be visual and linguistic. And last, the teen pregnancy rates, which is demonstrated on the charts that I had showed previously, those would be logical. And that would conclude my presentation. And at the end of my presentation would be times if anybody else had any extra questions or concerns that I would need me to answer.